a Salesian sister who found inspiration in Saint Therese of the Child Jesus. She chose suffering as a way to intercede for others. She had visions of the Holy Family. Today's curiosities are about Sister Consolata Betrone. Here are 8 curiosities about her. 8. Origin and birth. Sister Consolata Betrone, born as Pierina Betrone, came into the world on April 6, 1903, in the city of Saluzzo, located in the Piedmont region of northern Italy. She was the second daughter of Augusto Betrone and Giuseppina Nirino Betrone. Pierina's parents were devout Christians, and her family lived a simple and modest life in Saluzzo. She had an older sister named Olga, with whom she shared her childhood and spiritual formation. From a young age, Pierina showed an inclination towards religious life and a special devotion to Jesus and Mary. Her family and Catholic education were fundamental in cultivating this religious fervor in her life. At the age of 21, Pierina joined the Congregation of the Daughters of St. Francis Delaware Sales, also known as the Salesian Sisters, where she received the religious name Sister Consolata. Her spiritual journey and dedication to serving God and others were defining characteristics of her life, leading her to a deep intimacy with God and a life of love and sacrifice for others. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe to not miss any curiosities about the saints. 7. Biography of Sister Consolata Betrone. Sister Consolata Betrone, The Unceasing Act of Love, is a narrative that highlights the extraordinary life of Sister Consolata Betrone, whose devotion to love is presented as a sublime form of holiness. From the beginning, her life is permeated by a profound love for Jesus and Mary, reflecting her aspiration to imitate the simplicity and devotion of Saint Therese of the Child Jesus. Throughout her spiritual journey, Sister Consolata faced a series of challenges and trials, including temptation and the struggle against the devil. However, it was her unwavering faith and love for Jesus that gave her the strength to overcome these obstacles. Even before joining the Salesian Sisters, she faced years of waiting and opposition from her own family, demonstrating her determination and commitment to her faith. During her life, Sister Consolata continued to face various trials, including periods of war and further temptations from the devil. Yet, in each challenge, she found an opportunity to grow spiritually and strengthen her bond with God. Her death is described as the final testimony of her life of unceasing love for Jesus and humanity. Marked by a profound union with God and a total dedication to the salvation of souls, her departure from this world is seen as the culmination of a life devoted to the service of divine love. 6. Spirituality of Sister Consolata Betrone. The practice of the unceasing act of love represents the essence of Sister Consolata Betrone's spirituality, where she expresses a burning desire to love Jesus constantly and completely, even in the most difficult moments of suffering and illness. Her life is centered on this commitment to love, reflecting Jesus' teaching that true holiness resides in love, as opposed to extreme penitential practices or religious formalism. Inspired by the example of Saint Therese of the Child Jesus, Sister Consolata learned the simplicity and depth of love. Her aspiration was to make her life a simple path of love, where every action, no matter how small, was permeated by love for Jesus and humanity. A central figure in her spirituality was her special relationship with Father Sales, who supported and guided her in her commitment to unceasing love. The formula, Jesus, Mary, I love you, saves souls, became a mantra for her, representing not only an expression of devotion but an active commitment to offering her love for the salvation of souls. Leave your prayer request in the comments so that Sister Consolata Betrone can intercede for it before God. 5. Interpersonal relationships and influences. The special relationship between Sister Consolata Betrone and Father Sales played a significant role in her spiritual life. Father Sales not only supported her spiritually but also guided her on her path of love and dedication to God. His guidance and advice were fundamental in strengthening Sister Consolata's faith and helping her discern her vocation and mission in religious life. Father Sales provided Sister Consolata with a safe harbor where she could share her most intimate spiritual experiences, struggles, and aspirations. He was a spiritual mentor who encouraged her to move forward, even in moments of doubt and difficulty. Additionally, Sister Consolata had profound encounters with Jesus, Mary, and Saint Joseph throughout her life. These encounters were marked by a deep experience of love and compassion, where she felt enveloped by the divine presence and comforted in her times of need. These moments of spiritual communion nourished Sister Consolata's soul, strengthening her devotion and commitment to God and her neighbor. She saw in each encounter an opportunity to grow in love and to serve others with generosity and compassion. 4. Devotion and sacrifice. Sister Consolata Betrone's devotion to Jesus was so profound that it led her to embrace suffering as a path of union with Him and as an offering of love for others. She saw suffering as an opportunity to draw closer to the crucified Jesus and to participate in His redemptive sacrifice. Sister Consolata chose to embrace suffering not only for herself but also as a form of intercession for others. She offered herself as a victim for sinners, the Holy Father, and the souls in purgatory, offering her pains and sacrifices as an act of love and mercy. This attitude of offering herself as a victim was rooted in her deep understanding of Christ's love and His redemptive work. Sister Consolata viewed suffering not as something to be avoided but as an opportunity to unite more fully with Jesus on the cross, sharing in His redemptive suffering for humanity. This devotion led Sister Consolata to live a life of sacrifice and dedication, committing herself to the service of others and offering herself as an instrument of God's love. 3. Death. Sister Consolata Betrone passed away on July 18, 1946, at the age of 43. Her death was marked by a profound union with God and a total dedication to the salvation of souls, reflecting her life of unceasing love for Jesus and humanity. At the time of her death, Sister Consolata was suffering from pulmonary tuberculosis, a disease that had afflicted her for many years. She endured her illnesses with patience and resignation, offering her suffering as a participation in Christ's suffering for the redemption of the world. Sister Consolata died at the Salesian convent in Turin, Italy, where she had spent much of her religious life. Her departure from this world was met with great reverence and emotion among her fellow religious brothers and sisters, as well as among those who knew her life and witnessed her deep spirituality. Though she departed physically, the spiritual legacy of Sister Consolata Betrone lived on beyond her death, inspiring subsequent generations of faithful to live a life of love and devotion to God. 2. Legacy. The legacy of Sister Consolata Betrone is profoundly marked by her spirituality centered on love and her total dedication to God and service to others. Her life and teachings continue to inspire and impact the faithful around the world, leaving a lasting legacy that endures beyond her physical death. Sister Consolata is remembered for her practice of the unceasing act of love, where she sought to love Jesus constantly and completely, even in the most difficult moments. Her example highlights the importance of love as the essence of Christian life and the pursuit of holiness. She offered her suffering as a victim for sinners, the Holy Father, and the souls in purgatory. Her testimony teaches about the redemption found in suffering offered in union with Christ, illustrating the importance of accepting life's challenges with faith and love. Sister Consolata had profound encounters with Jesus, Mary, and Saint Joseph, where she experienced intense spiritual communion. Her intimate relationship with the Holy Family underscores the importance of prayer and seeking God's presence in daily life. She learned from Saint Teresa of the Child Jesus the importance of simplicity and love in the small things of life. Her testimony teaches about the holiness found in humility and total trust in God. Many devotees turn to Sister Consolata for intercession in their spiritual and physical needs. Her life and example of holiness make her a source of inspiration and assistance for those facing challenges in their lives. 1. Beatification. Sister Consolata Betrone was beatified by the Catholic Church on October 7, 2018. The beatification ceremony was presided over by Pope Francis and took place at the Basilica of Mary Help of Christians in Turin, Italy, the city where Sister Consolata spent much of her religious life. The beatification of Sister Consolata Betrone was an official recognition of her holiness and her exemplary Christian life. During the ceremony, her life was celebrated as an example of love, service, and total dedication to God and neighbor. The liturgical day of Sister Consolata Betrone is celebrated on July 18, the date of her death. On this day, the faithful have the opportunity to remember her life, her example of holiness, and her intercession. It is an occasion to reflect on her spiritual legacy and seek inspiration from her testimony to live a life closer to God and love for neighbor. We've reached the end of another story full of curiosities. Leave a comment about which saint's curiosities you would like to see here on the channel. And until the next story.